In this video, this is going to be the introduction to using Trenchbroom. It's just going to cover some basics. Now, keep in mind that I haven't been using this for very long, probably no more than an hour of trialing and testing and learning the interface. So there are much better tutorials out there. However, this is going to follow some stuff that I've already been doing and setting up. So if you've been watching those videos, then I encourage you to watch this one, and there will be a more advanced video hopefully next with some other techniques. But this one is really just about learning the interface. So all we're going to do is make a simple level. It's going to have a couple of rooms in it to learn how this interface works. So the first thing that we want to do is I want to bring up my list of shortcuts, is go over some basic navigation. So the navigation in here is actually similar to what it is in Godot, where you hold right click and arrow keys, and up will increase the speed that you do that. Sorry, mouse scroll up. So in here, right mouse button, look around, arrow keys, zoom in and out. It shouldn't be as laggy on yours, it's just because it's recording the screen at the same time. Forward, zoom in and out, and if I scroll wheel up or down, I can change that speed there. So it's very similar to Godot in how the 3D interface is navigated. This here is called a brush. You can click on it to select it, and you can rotate around this by holding Alt, and it will rotate around that brush. You can snap to that brush by pushing Control U, and it will rotate around the point that you're actually on. Okay, so if I right click here, it's going to rotate around that particular point. You can see that point there stays pretty much in the same place, and it rotates around it. So that's different to that. Control U will snap that back to the center. You can pan your view by middle mouse. So pushing up takes it up, pushing down takes it down. Well, it's kind of inverted controls if you think of it, but it is inverted. So moving your mouse to the right moves the whole scene to the left. It kind of feels a bit weird until you get used to it, but that is the panning. Zoom in and out is just scroll the middle mouse button, so you can zoom in and out that way. To create a brush, it's very simple. You just hold left click. Oops. Without a brush selected, hold left click and draw another brush, like so. I'm just going to undo those for a pretty simple reason. Left click will select the brush, and you can clear a brush by clicking an empty area. You can select multiple brushes. So if I have a brush selected here and I want to select both of them, you can hold Control to click on both brushes. Deleting a brush, you click on it and you can click delete. All right, let me just read what this next one is. Yeah, I don't know what that means. Okay, so this next part, if I select the brush and then I hold Shift, you'll see that it's letting me kind of mouse over these individual faces. And I can then grab them with my left mouse button and move them in and out. So this is kind of extruding. And so I can make a floor like that. Now to make a wall, there's a few different ways that I could do this. I'm going to do it not like that. So I'm going to turn the grid size down. You can turn the grid size down by changing this up the top here. And I'm just going to make a wall there. And then hold Shift and pull that wall up like so. Now that in Blender, sorry, not in Blender, in Godot, at grid size 16, that's the same size as a Godot unit. So I can kind of see, oh, that's about 4 Godot units. That should be high enough for a wall, but I may actually take it up a little bit higher for a wall. So click in here, Shift, bring it up. I'm just going to duplicate that. So if I hold Control, I can drag it out, or you can hold Control D to duplicate in space. To move something around, you can just move it. Now you're going to be asking already, how do you move stuff up and down? And I am going to get to that. So I'll get to that very shortly. So let's go ahead and put in another wall along here. So I'll select nothing. And I want to put in one that goes there and bring that up to there. And I'll duplicate that. So Control D. And I can use the arrow keys to move these. So I can use the arrow keys to move them quite accurately. Okay, so there we've got 4 walls. I could make a ceiling here, but just Control D that. And now I want to bring this up. So to bring it up, instead of just holding Alt to shift it around, instead of just holding the mouse to shift it around, I hold Alt. So Alt will bring it up and down. I'm going to select that top face and bring it down so it's not so high. That should give me almost the right height. There we go. And I'll bring that into that corner and then bring it up. And then there we go. So now we've got an enclosed box. Now, if I save this, file save, I'm going to save it into my Godot project folder. And where is it? It's this one, I think. Maps. I'm going to save it as test level. I do want to replace it. Now, if I go back to Godot, I'll just close that, save and close. Don't save actually. And I'll test that this actually works. So I create a new 3D scene. I add in the Godot map and I select the map file, which should be maps, test level map, and just click quick build just to get an idea. All right, there we go. So that is about the right size, I think. I'm not sure. I can scale it up in here another time if I need to, but it looks right. Okay, so it's come in. We've got a hollow cube there. Easy. Now I want to add another one of these somewhere else. So I'm going to select everything here. So I think that there is a way that I can select all the touching things. Create a brush and move it so it touches, overlaps all the brush you want to multi-select. Control T to commit selection. Oh, I see what that's saying. Yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to hold Control. Whoops. Click Control. Select them all. There is probably a faster way to select these. I want to right click on those, create a brush entity. Actually, I'm just going to group them for now. Group name, room 1. I can break that apart later. Okay, but I'm going to duplicate that room. So I'm going to hold Control and I'm going to bring that over to here. Oops, I'll duplicate it 4 times. All right, cool. And that's pretty good. I just want to make them even and line up. So you can use these little lines to get things to line up with each other. It's really handy. There we go. Everything's lining up nicely. Okay, I want to make some modifications to this one. So what I'm going to do is select that, and I'm going to ungroup these now. I shouldn't have grouped them. I should have just selected them all. And I want to use this clip tool. So the clip tool is C, and I'm going to clip. I don't want to clip like that. Okay, so this is not like something like Blender, well, the cut tool where you can make multiple cuts. You can really only make one cut. So I'm going to cut that up there. And what's going to happen here is if I hit Control Enter, that didn't actually work. So just be aware that it is a little bit of an interesting tool. So I click that, I click C, and I bring it to the top. Now it looks like it's going to cut half of that off, and it will if I hit Enter. But I actually want to keep that. So I'm going to hit Control Enter, and I can cycle between what I want to keep here. So I want to keep both, and then I just push Enter. So this one here, I'm going to take it all the way to the top and hit Enter. And then this one here, I am going to cycle. Actually, I'm not going to cycle. I'm just going to hit enter on that. And I'll click this, sorry, I've got to select this one, and I will select that. And why is that not working? Sometimes I actually don't understand why sometimes it just doesn't appear to work. So I've got that selected. Oh, I think I only had one face selected. And I want to cut across there and hit enter. And it's not working. On the side. Not, you'll see what I mean. This is kind of, I'm just going to try it from the side here. From there to there. There we go. That's what I want. I want to cut pretty much across there. And I only want to keep the top half. I'll put that back in. I'm not sure why that wasn't working. Oops. Change that back to here. The default select is Control Escape. That's a really useful shortcut. It's easier just to select something different. So I've got a door here, and I want to do the same over here. So let's just go through and do that again. Oh, that's going to be annoying, isn't it? I probably should have thought about that before I did anything else. So let's go ahead and move that. I can see where that is. All right, so this one here. So I'll click that. I'll have to ungroup it. I think it was this one. Let's see. Yeah, it was this one. So C, that one. It's going to go all the way down to there. And hit enter. And it doesn't, I don't understand. What am I doing wrong? Just C. There we go. Why? I don't know. I want to keep both of those, so hit enter. And then C, that one down to there. Again, what have I not clicked here? There we go. Keep both of those. And it doesn't actually matter, and I'll tell you why in a sec. I want to keep, I don't actually want to cut that whole thing, so I just want to select this one. So Control Escape. That does bring that up. I'll click that button. This one here, and I want to cut across there. And again, I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong here. So let's select that. I'm going to draw. I think holding the mouse button and clicking is better. I think that seems to be working more for me. So I'll delete that. Now, I don't know if these match up exactly, but regardless, I'm just going to draw a brush here. Okay, so not quite, but that's an easy fix because I can click this one and I can bring that in. You can click this one and I can bring that in there. Okay, so now I've got this here. Now, unlike something like the Hammer editor, you don't need to have fully enclosed spaces. Okay, you don't need to have everything perfectly, fully enclosed. You can keep things open and just have this infinite void here because we're going to be bringing it into Godot. It's not a problem. All right. Next thing I want to do is some texturing. I'm actually going to delete these boxes over here because I don't want this video to be too big. I want to do some texturing. Okay, so this here, what I need to do is go edit and I need to find preferences. Where is it? View preferences. And if I click on the Godot game, I need to set the game path to my maps folder because in my maps folder is the textures folder. And that is what Trenchbroom is going to look for to find textures. So in the textures folder, it's going to find that textures there. So I've set that to there. Yours might be HDrive / Godot / your name Doom. I don't know where it will be. I don't know where your maps folder will be, but you'll have to find that. And then down the bottom here, if you switch to face, down the bottom here, you'll get textures showing up. And you can click this and these textures will show up. So if I select this here and decide, okay, I want that texture, it goes on the whole thing. Now I could change the scale of that to something smaller. So I can change that X and Y scale to 0.5, 0.5, and that's probably a bit better. Okay, but if I remember, that's kind of my grid thing that I'm aiming for. By the way, I wanted to modify this one a little bit. And so I want to select that face and bring it here, but I want to change that to grid size 8 and that face here. And I want to bring the whole thing down so that it's flat going out. And then these textures, I actually want to select here and copy it to this one. And now this is something that I'm pretty sure I can do. If I hold Alt and click on that. Oh, whoops. So if I select that, sorry, I need to select both of these, Control. And if I Alt click that, it should copy to the others, but it's not. And why is that? Okay, we'll have to bring up the shortcut keys. Here we go. So assigning textures manually. You can also transfer textures and attributes from one face to another, attributes, etc. To do this, start by selecting the source face with Shift plus left click. Then hold one of the following modifier combinations, depend on what you want to transfer, and perform one of the following actions. All right, so I want to Shift click on this. So that's going to select that. Then what I want to do is, yep, so I just wanted to, I want to click Alt and I want to click on that, and it doesn't work. Oh, it did. Alt Shift. That worked. And Alt Shift. Cool. All right, so then I've got the floor, and what you'll notice is that they match up, which is nice. This here has already saved us so much time because in Blender, and I mean, maybe I'm not familiar enough with Blender's UV mapping tools, but I think I am. To do this in Blender is a real pain. Okay, lining vertices up on the UV map, it's not particularly easy. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a crate, and I'm going to use this here to do it. So if I select nothing, and I just draw a crate here, we'll go, I get the measurements on there, go 16 by 16, and I'll select that top face and drag that up. Okay, now with this brush, I want to put that shape on it, but I don't want it to be that big, so I'm going to turn the scale down quite a bit. Oops. Oh, how am I going to get that to fit? That's the Y scale. I need to turn that down as well. 0.1, probably 0.2. And play around with the offset a little bit. And that doesn't seem quite right. I think the scale is a bit big. And that's not quite right either. I think it's 0.25. And then the offset, yeah, that's right. Okay, but then these offsets on the side, I can shift click these. Sorry, I click this one and I can get this right. That's perfect. And then if I've got that selected, if I hold Alt and Shift, I can select these other ones and get them perfectly aligned. Now I've got a crate here, which I can duplicate, Control D. I can duplicate a bunch of these. Like that. Okay, and that didn't take long at all. Now I'm not going to do any more texturing in this video, but I am going to save this map, save document, and I'm going to go over to Godot, and I'm going to do a quick build. So what I got here, my texture didn't come across because the base texture directory here, I need to change. So I'm going to change that to be maps and then textures and click select current folder. Now I want to do a quick build. those textures should come across, and I'll explain why they haven't in a sec. What I need to do is go into this folder, and I actually need to re-import all of these as preset 2D detect 3D and re-import them. There we go. That's working. It's come in. It's got all the textures on it, and it's looking good. Okay. Now the great thing about this is also, if I go ahead and I just quickly add an environment, I add a new environment. You don't need to do this. Everything's gone completely black. And then if I go ahead and add in a light, directional light, I didn't want a directional light. I wanted an omni light. These omni lights, they affect the scene. Okay, so, and you can turn shadows on, shadow mode, cube shadow, enable. So they will actually light the scene. So you can light your scene in Godot. There are plenty of ways to do that. If I bring that all the way over, I'll go into the other area and I'll add a cube here. I'll add one of these. Add Omni Light. Oh, it's it's back over there. So let's just bring that through to there and bring it up. And we'll turn shadow on that one. I just want to find those cubes and see that they're casting a shadow properly. And they are. So you can see the cubes are casting a shadow back there. You can change that bias, but at a certain point, it just kind of doesn't work. But that's looking pretty good. Okay, so we've got that there. We can do some spooky lighting. You can put code on this to turn the light on and off to make it flicker. There is all kinds of stuff you can do. In the next video, I will talk about making some more complex shapes and what you could do with this. But there's some basics for you to kind of work with.